Hello crafters, thanks for joining me. So today we're going to make a lovely project using the small images from my calendar kit. So you want to cut them out and then you want to mat and layer them on some cardstock or some scrapbooking paper. Find one that's been in your hoard forever and just layer these, cut the cardstock or this scrapbooking paper 1/4 of an inch wider and 1/4 of an inch longer and layer them on. Then we're going to create this lovely desk calendar. Okay, so you can see I've layered all of those and it stands up beautifully like so. Okay, lovely little project, easy to make, great gift idea. So keep watching and watch to the end to get the full instructions. See you soon. Okay, so you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. The first one is going to measure 5 7/8 by 8 3/8. Don't forget, all the measurements will be over on my Ko-fi. And the second one needs to measure, let me look at the measurements, 3 7/8. Yeah, 3 7/8 by 9 1/4. Just double checking because I sometimes say the wrong, one number and I say a completely different number. So you put this smaller, well, shorter piece on your scoreboard on the 9 1/4 inch length, and you want to score at 1/2 inch, 2 inch, 3 1/2, and 8 1/4. Is that right? No. Let me just measure. Let me just double check that. 8 3/4, I beg your pardon. 8 3/4. That should be right. Let me just double. So you fold. Which way is this going now? So that one comes forward. Okay. That one goes back. The second one comes forward like a concertina, and that one goes back. Okay. I think that's right. Or do the 1/2 inch ones want to be folded in like that because they're going to attach to the back. Okay. Yeah. So both of those folded in. Okay. Give those a burnish and set that to one side, so it's going to look like that. Okay, can you see? Yeah. Okay, then the second piece here, you want to put it on the short side. So this is the 5 7/8 side. Okay, you want to score at 1/2 inch, and 1 inch. And then for argument's sake, just turn it the whole way around and do the same again. It's easier than giving out silly measurements. So 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Okay, then turn it and put it completely on the long side so your score lines are running that way. You want to score at 1/2 inch, but the 1/2 inch wants to be between the middle score lines there, so not all the way top to bottom, but you've got 1 2 score lines, so you're starting there and you're ending at the next score line, so not all the way top to bottom. So just drag your, so 1/2 inch between the score lines. Okay, then you want to go to 2 5/8 all the way. Is that right? Yeah, 2 5/8 all the way, and 3 1/8 all the way. Okay, always double check. I'm double checking my measurements to make sure I don't get it wrong. Make sure you write your measurements down. They're over on my Ko-fi, and double check each time before you make a score. Then you won't make a mistake. Yeah. You know they say, measure twice, cut once. Well, check your scores and then you won't make a mess. Okay, so you want to fold and burnish all of these score lines. Give them a good crease. Okay. And then what you want to do is turn it around so you've got that short score line that would be between the score lines, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to go from the outer point of the score lines, there, and you want to score an angle from that point to that point, okay? So you've got like a little doofer. Okay, so let me show you. So I'm going to put it on an angle so I can see. I'm going to put my small side of my ball tool on the point there where this score line meets that score line. Okay, then put a ruler and join it up with that score line at an angle. Okay, let me show you. Like that. Can you see? Yeah? And then do the same at the other side. Alright, so now what you want to do is we're going to cut away, put that to the bottom. We don't need any of these here on the longer bit. Okay, none of those, we don't need them. Okay, so you've got two score lines on the longer length, we don't need any of those, we can cut those away. Then when we come to this 1/2 inch score line here, we don't need that, but we need that. So the same at the other side, we don't need the first square, we need the inner square. Okay, and then you need both of those, and we're just going to cut away where we've done that little angle and along the score line. So let's do that bit first. Okay, so you're cutting across from the score line where we've done the little angle at each side. Okay, like that, and then we're going to cut across there. It just gives us a bit more of a fancy front, and it'll just be slanted. It just makes it more attractive. Okay, so I fast forwarded this bit because I'm very slow at cutting. So we're cutting away the sections that I indicated. So the two long sections there, both on each side, take those away, then cut across where the two squares are, straight across to the score line. Okay, so that you're releasing them both. Then cut the outer one off and notch each side of that square. Okay, then we're going to notch the top where the little angle is. You don't need to notch the bottom, that was an error. Just notch the top. Okay, and then do exactly the same on the other side. So cutting away the two long pieces completely away, release the two squares and remove the top one. Notch the inner one. Okay, and then just notch at the top there. Visual idea of what it's going to do. So then what happens is that is going to fold up like so. Burnish that score line and then fold up the next score line. Okay, so then now that makes it a gusset at the bottom. These tabs will fold in, so that's why it doesn't matter that I've just accidentally ripped mine. And the tabs will attach to your first score line, to your first 1/2 inch, and then that will wrap round and it will attach to the back. Okay, like so, and then you've got this nice slanty bit here. Okay, just take your time and cut it nicely. Alright, so can you see? Okay, so I'm going to put all that together, but what I'm going to do first of all is I'm just going to mat this back piece here. Okay, so I've got a piece of paper here and this measures 3 5/8 by 5. Alright, and it's just easier if you do it before you... Oh, in fact no, we'll do it after because I want to cover over these flaps. We'll do it after. So fold your tabs in, put some tape on, tab at that side in, tape. Okay, I just trim it off because I've put too much on. And then these two here, fold the first one in and put tape on that. Is that right? Yeah. Fold the first one in on the other side and put tape on that. Okay, then grab your pokey tool or whatever you use. Give that tape a good press so that it stays stuck down when you're peeling it off. Got a little bit of extra there. If you've got any extra peeking out like I have, make sure you trim it off. You don't want excess tape. Okay, otherwise it'll be sticking to stuff it's not meant to stick to. Okay, but I leave in warts and all when I do tutorials, because if I make a mistake and I show you, then you'll know not to do it, or you'll know how to rectify it. So if I make a mistake or a little error, I will always leave it in. I don't edit it out, because there's no perfect crafter out there. Those that do it absolutely spot on perfect have edited the video within an inch of their lives. Because nobody does things perfect. Well, I don't anyway. Right, so like I say, tab in. So we want this flat edge to go against this flat edge. We're not lining up the tab, okay? We're lining up those edges, okay? So line the edge up and press your tab. Same at this side. Line. I'm making it look difficult on all fingers and thumbs because I'm trying to do it so that you can see. Obviously, if I'm not filming, it's boom, 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 and you're away. Then fold those bits in and lift it up. So fold it in and line the sides up. Okay. Fold it in. I'm lining those sides up before I commit, making sure it's nice and flush and they're in a gap. Okay, and that's fine. Same at the other side. It should just fold in nicely and line up perfectly. Okay, then just go in with your burnishing tool and give that a press. Now this is why I decided not to mat until it was together, because if I'd have put my paper on first, then you'd see these tabs. So you want to put your paper on after and slide it in, and then it will cover the tabs up. Okay. I hope you're all, everybody's not getting stressed out, preparing for Christmas. I've decided, like you do, to redecorate the whole of my house. I think I've got like, I think my friend Ian Potter put a post up today saying there's like hardly any days till Christmas basically. And I've decided I'm decorating my hallway, my kitchen, my living room. I want to do my bedroom, but that could wait till after Christmas, but yeah. Like you do, you know. We all do it, don't we? We all think of things that need doing when we're busy already. Right, so that is just lined up nicely. You've got an 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Then, you know, it's always going to look pretty, however you look at it. Okay, and then for the front here, I've got a piece that measures 1 7/8 by 3 5/8, and that will layer on the front. Okay. I will be picking some winners for my previous hidden giveaway over the weekend and announcing it on Monday. Keep watching, because if I manage to sneak another video in this weekend, between decorating and all the other tasks, ridiculous tasks I've given myself, I may well just do another hidden giveaway, so keep watching. So that's that bit done, okay, and I've just blobbed glue on the side. You can mat and layer the sides if you like, it would look really pretty, and I may well do that after the video. So the back piece, okay, that we have done all this funky scoring on, we're going to mat and layer that as well, and it's the same size as this one. So 3 5/8 by 5, and it wants to go on this back bit here. So you've folded all of those in, okay, it wants to go on this back bit here. I mean shot. Okay, make sure you check the direction of your paper. This paper is part of the kit. It's lovely. Okay, so now where you've got this little 1/2 inch flap and this little 1/2 inch flap, you're going to attach those to the back of the box, flush top and bottom. And hopefully I've measured it right. Yes, I have. Right, so what I would suggest is fold it all together, give it a really good squeeze, but make sure you don't budge your score lines, you know, and move them over. Give an ever such a good squeeze. How English is that? Ever such a good squeeze, ladies and gents. Then put your tape on. Let me get my little card so that I'm not... Put your tape central. You don't want it too close to the score line or too close to the cut edge. You want it nicely in the middle. You can use glue, obviously. Okay. I'll put some here. And don't forget, you don't have to use this with just my calendar kit. It's a nice size. You can use this idea and put a little notebook in, post-it notes, all sorts you could put in, okay? You could even put a little collection of mini photos, you know, for somebody to have on the desk. I think that would be nice, you know, do some little cards and have different photos on, so when they're sat on the desk, if they're feeling a bit fed up at work or whatever, they can have a flick through and look at all the different, you know, little photos of the family or something. That would be a really nice idea as well. So it's really useful. You can do lots of things with it. It's really easy to resize, to make wider or deeper. You just make the sizes a bit bigger. Okay, so now you want to line this up. I've not taken the tape off the bottom yet so that I don't end up in a sticky mess. That's how I do it. So we're going to line this up. I'm just going to have to hold it towards me, and I start at one corner, work my way across carefully and make sure it joins up at the other side. Give it a press. Okay, fold it out, give it a press. Okay, so now we can take the bottom one off. And you should be able to just fold the whole project in half and press, and it should line up. But I am just going to double check because my cutting and my eyes are often a little bit wonky. Okay, so there we go, it's lined up perfect. I've done my measuring right, my cutting's not too bad. And so you've got this little like crease, and what that will do is that will help it stand up. Okay. Alright, perfect. Okay, and then you put your cards in. Now I designed it a little bit larger than the cards on purpose, okay, so that you can add... I don't have a fancy one handy. I've only got this one with a hoot hoot owl land on. But, you know, you could just get a little ballpoint pen or a little pencil, and there's room for a pencil in there as well, okay? So that's why there's a little bit of a gap there. It's been done on purpose. So there's your little desk organiser, okay? But we need to decorate the front, don't we? So let's have a look. Let me give it a measure. This wasn't part of my plan, but I just want to do a little bit of decoration there. So let me just double check my measurements. So I'm going to do it the whole... So it's 3 7/8, isn't it, roughly? Yeah, 3 7/8. So I'm just going to get myself a scrap piece and I'm going to cut it to 3 7/8 and then see if I just need to trim some off. Because often when you measure and then you've scored and folded, it just ever so slightly shrinks the size. So just bear that in mind. So 3 7/8. Let me see if that's right, or whether I just need to take a tiny slice off. Yeah, see, just need to take, it does that, I discovered, the more that I did boxes and things, that once you've done your folding, it then just ever so slightly reduces that size, so just take a sliver off. So 3 7/8 minus a sliver, yeah, that's right. And then what does this measure in total? It measures, if I can get it right way around, 2 1/8. So what does 1 inch look like? Yeah, let's do 1 inch by 1 inch. Okay. And then grab some, have I got a scrap piece? I don't really want to cut into this big piece. Oh well. So 3 7/8. I'm just going to do 1/4 inch, just under 1/4 inch by 1 7/8, isn't it? Let's do about there. I'm doing this, no, that's not right. 7/8, not 1 7/8. So 7/8, I'm going to do it about 1/8 of an inch, so I'm doing it about 7/8 of an inch. Is that right? Let me just check. I don't really want 1/4 inch, you see. I'm just going to go down to 3 of those lines below 1 inches. I don't really want 1/4 inch because that's a tiny, silly little bit of a measurement, isn't it? Yeah. And I just want a nice gap, but not too small where it's just looks like it's a waste of time doing it. I know what I mean. So do that by eye. Just leave yourself a small increment. Okay? There's no real exact measurement there. And then layer that on. Just using up your scraps. Don't go cutting into large pieces. If you're having to cut into large pieces, then don't bother. Don't bother doing it. Just stamp a nice sentiment and stick that on instead. Okay? So that's that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tape around the back because I want my set matching. So I'm going to add some ribbon. So I've got my sticky tape to hold it. I've got my bundle of ribbon that I hand dyed. Okay, I'm going to make sure I've got plenty, so I'm just going to stick it across the back and then bring it around the front. I could probably do with some sticky tape around the front as well. Put a little bit there, not all the way, and a little bit there. Just a little bit, not all the way, or else it'll end up showing. Okay. Just remove that and remove that. Okay, wrap your ribbon. Get it in the middle the best you can. And all that's going to do is help hold it in place for you whilst you tie a bow, so that it's not slipping about and making you feel like you'd rather be doing something else. Trim it off. I've still got all of that left if I want to make another project. And I like my bows a little bit to the side rather than in the middle. So I'm just going to put it a little bit to the side. I'm going to tie it in a knot. Okay. Try my best to do a bow. It's very cold today and my fingers and thumbs don't work very well in the cold. So if you think I'm faffing about, I am sorry. I can't help it. Okay, just be patient. That's more me talking to myself than giving you an instruction. Just be patient, Amanda. Because, you know, it's important to talk to yourself whilst you're crafting. It's kind of like just what you need to do. Okay, and then we're going to trim that off. Okay. And trim it off here. In the opposite direction. Oops. Okay. Then I'm going to grab some foam tape. A little bit of foam tape. Where's my scissors? These ones are good for foam tape. I'm going to measure roughly how much I need, about that much. Trim it off. Getting in a hot mess. Let's just move some of this about. Okay. So put that on as central as you can. Give it a press. Peel that backing off. Okie doke. And I want it that side. Do I? want it at that side. I do want it at that side because I'm right-handed. I tend to load all of my embellishments to the right. Okay, so let me just take these out so that they're not slipping about. I'm just looking for the centre. If you want to measure it, you can. I'm not that bothered. Just eyeballing it. Okay. She says, eyeballing it, she says. I'm making a right mess of it. Okay. Just take your time before you commit. Okay. Let's pull those ribbons so that I've got one pointing down and one pointing up. Don't forget, if your ribbons won't lay flat or you don't like where your tails are, stick a little glue dot behind and make it stay where you want it. Okay. But just be careful that it's not going to show. So then that just gives you that little bit of dimension. It helps strengthen that box a little bit and it looks pretty. Okay, so then you can put those back in there and they will stand up beautifully on somebody's desk. What a lovely little gift. Okay, don't forget, of course, your Hoot Hoot owl pencil which matches beautifully. So there you go. Don't forget, if you can't find a pencil the right size, okay, get a pencil, get a sharp blade very carefully and just chop the end off, okay? Or you could just sharpen it for an hour until it got smaller. There's another tip. I'm full of hints and tips, me. This is why it's really important that you're subscribed and you follow me. But there you go. There's a lovely little lovely little desk calendar. As I say, you could put post-it notes in, you could make yourself a little notebook instead of these calendars. It's the little box principle that I wanted to show you. Now, you could go about making a lid for it. I would probably wrap these in a piece of ribbon so that they're not sliding about, you know, until they were gifted. I'd put them in some ribbon and then I'd probably just slide the whole thing into a cello bag or something. But if you want to make another box to put your box in, then that's up to you. Okay, or another thing you could do is you could add another flap as a closure. But, you know, we don't want to complicate things. It's not necessary. Alright. So we can tie those together so they're not slipping about. There's my scissors. Okay. Alrighty. Slide them in and then don't forget your owl pencil. Oh dear, couldn't have found a less coordinated pencil. So there you go, there's the idea. Take it away and do what you can with it. I hope it helps. Don't forget, all the measurements will be over on my Ko-fi. All the links are in the description box below. Alright, so keep watching and I'll come up with some more gift ideas. Maybe not necessarily with this set. I might use some of the freebies from my 12 weeks of Christmas freebies kit, which is also available over on my Ko-fi for a small cost for those who aren't on Facebook. So maybe I'll come up with something with those. I think that looks lovely. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye.